I'm back. We're back up. Thanks for watching. I am Wayne Pelletier. I own the Resident Pixel Company. We make awesome websites for small businesses. We rescue them from WordPress. I have a cool video for you today. I'm going to share a few slides, and I haven't done the whole share thing yet, picture in picture. I'm looking forward to giving it a try. I want to talk about value-based pricing and a type of value-based pricing called lifetime value. There's a mindset transition that happens when you start productizing a service and charging a subscription. Now, there are lots of different types of productized services. I'm going to get into that here in just a second. But I want to share this screen. I got to click a button. Boom. Look at it. All right, look. Before I get into lifetime value and the math behind it and the mindset behind it, I've got to cover some fundamentals here first. And most of this is probably not new to anyone here. Let me move to a third. All right. Most of this is not new to anyone here, but I want to cover the bases anyway, so we're all on the same page. There are three different types of pricing, basically. There is labor pricing, which is time and materials. Basically, you're trading time for money. It's not outcome-based. You're usually just hired hands. It doesn't always require expertise, though some people do pay for expertise hourly or on a budget, and then you just chip away at time. So you may not be billing hourly. You may have a fixed rate, but you're still subtracting time in order to measure how much you should be charging. You're still trading time for money. Then there's value-based pricing, which is a fixed outcome and a fixed price that's based on some specific transformation. Right, we're talking about this being a graduation. The leap to this type of pricing is pretty dramatic, and it's a different mindset. It's definitely outcome-based mindset, right? And then performance pricing, I'm not really going to cover performance pricing. Normally, you get compensated for specific goals. You see this more frequently in paid media or lead generation, direct marketing, and those kinds of environments. And attribution, the analytics are a pretty big lift. Normally, there isn't a ton of retainer style or project or value-based pricing fees. It's normally outcome-based, but there are a ton of ways to slice and dice that. Now, let's get into lifetime value. If you've been freelancing or you've owned a small agency of any kind for any period of time, solopreneur, entrepreneur, whatever you want to call yourself, look, you're familiar, I know this for a fact, you are familiar with the feast and famine cycle of project revenue. Great month, yay! Terrible month, boo! Difficult times. You go from eating Wagyu to eating instant ramen. And it's a tough, tough life. It's stressful. And it is difficult to build the business. And because there's a great lie out there that service businesses are scalable. And they're really not. Time and materials is not scalable at all. Because you're not focused on what you make. We don't make time. In order to make time, you have to add bodies. You can charge more per hour, charge more per project, which is still time-based. But in order to get more done and earn more revenue, you have to hire more people. And maybe you signed up to build an agency and you want to get into the business of, tracking everyone's time and doing reverse math on that. That's fine. There are a million great agencies have been created and a million more will be created. And it's a fantastic business if that's the business you want to be in. But it's not lifetime value focused from a pricing standpoint because not everything is value-based projects. So with subscribers, and mind you, not every productized service is a subscription-based business. It doesn't have to be. In the book, Built to Sell, they're not selling a subscription, but they're selling a fixed price item, right? A service for a fixed cost that has a fixed outcome, and everybody gets the exact same process. So even though the example in the book is that the business makes logos, they're not selling logos. The logo is the outcome. They're selling their process. And that's where the transformation and the delivery of value starts to happen, when you can help people envision what their world, their business would be like after that transformation. That has tangible value. So the thing about, and I'm using a subscription here because my business is based on subscriptions. We charge a few $100 a month. We go make the website. We're off to the races. And the way that works is you stack subscriptions, and you're only really dealing with attrition, and it's extraordinarily rare. So every single month, you go from charging $500 a month for a subscription, and I'm just choosing that because it's a round number. That's $6,000 a year, but if you're charging $10,000, $15,000 for a project, there's good value in that. The business never has to write you a $10,000 check, and they may be all right with that. Now it's on you, on me in this case, to continue to deliver value. So a subscription has to be packed with value, access to your expertise, access to more content or more revenue, more content and more pages, more forms, more, the website should be a transaction engine. So it's lifetime value is a different mindset, like I said a second ago. And here's what that looks like. A project, like say a website, only needs to be addressed holistically every few years. How frequently does someone renew? I call that the value loop. So the value loop is this. I don't want to sell someone 3 websites over the course of 10 years. And that's just one example. I know these numbers vary based on your target and your deliverable and all that. But look, if we know they're going to want another website in 3 years, then they're going to start thinking about that, not 36 months out. They're going to start thinking about that 20, 25 months out. So head that off at the pass. I offer a free redesign at 18 months. Now they never have to leave. The whole point of the value loop is understanding when the reoccurrence of that project happens so that you can price, and the price can be set so that it is always valuable. So we're talking about lifetime value here of not being $3,000-$5,000 projects at $15,000 over the course of 10 years. We're talking about a base subscription that equals that or exceeds that over the course of time, but they never have to write those 3 big checks. And if we're continuing to deliver value, then that is where sort of the business exchange, the value-based business exchange happens. So yes, we can always chip away at our hard costs, cut subscriptions, cut Adobe or whatever apps you want to cut Canva, choose cheaper hosts, choose cheaper software, use more system software that comes on your computer. That works. You can only cut so far though. You can't cut your way into prosperity, right? And the same thing goes for our soft costs. We do only have so much time, but we're not charging for time. So how much time something takes doesn't matter now. Because if someone's going to be connected to the business for 10, 15, 20 years, then that engagement has more value than the soft time we spent in spinning the project up. And that level of investment in that business, in those people, pays back dividends into the business in trust, in value. It goes a long way. So it's yeah, you're kind of putting skin in the game. And I've got a couple of math problems up here on the, I'm on the wrong side, on the slide that I hope delivers on that. Now, all of this to say, I got a message from someone whom I value tremendously. And this person is working on transitioning the business to offering productized subscriptions. And my guess is that there are different levels of subscription because the target and the target, like your best customer model, isn't dialed in specifically enough. We're still willing to take on all different types of jobs. So we have different levels of effort up at the setup. Now, I talked about having a process. Lock the process in, bonus points for naming it, and always build systems so that everyone goes through the exact same process. This is how you protect your time. And then over time, as you rock out projects, you can alter your pricing based on how much effort you're putting in to spin these things up. And you can also, over time, see the value that you're providing and alter your price accordingly there as well. So there's a couple of levers we have to pull. The thing to remember here is, as productized service stabilizes your time and your income, right? It's always a work in progress, so it's not necessarily set in stone. If we commit to doing something at a fixed rate that isn't a great fit, that engagement has to be addressed. Now, like I said, bonus points for naming your process. Look, I talked about systemizing everything and providing ongoing value. No one should ever think, what have you done for me lately? You got to communicate clearly and frequently with everyone who's a customer. And being great at customer service is the number one thing that prevents churn. We don't want people unsubscribing from our service. We want to add value. I am emailing customers monthly. I've been told I should be doing it weekly. Just, Culver's kids. The idea here is automating communications and frequency of communication to make sure that they realize that there are features and benefits they're not taking enough advantage of. There are benefits to the business in adding content, updating their forms, refining their CRM list. All of these things are areas of opportunity. They should be adding memberships, digital products. I want customers to feel like they have a lot of opportunity in this engagement, and it's always accessible to them. So that's how you prevent churn and keep them going. We've only ever lost 2 subscribers in the last 2.5 years, and that was because both businesses kind of shut down. What are you going to do? So target lifetime value. I know it can be hard, and I'm going to get into the second ago, the feelings. Look, in a minute, I'm going to get into the feelings. Look, targeting lifetime value is a mindset shift. How much time something takes doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Get it done, get them happy, keep them happy, and over time, both businesses will benefit. So in order to prevent varying levels of effort at the outset, the important thing here is to commit to one high-value challenge in the business. Solve one problem. Make it as small as possible, or you can make it as valuable as possible. Either way, solving the smallest problem, that is the most urgent smallest problem, I'll say, is the easiest way to get someone to start to understand and move into that transformation passionately. Make it super easy to acquire. They should technically be able to check out on your website, but oftentimes with services, especially big ones, if the culture in business finds that the buying process is really complex, it's great to have a discovery call. That's basically what I do. And then package and process everything, but the process is built not just to scale, be repeatable. Every single business goes through the exact same process over and over again. I'll do a video on my process here in the near future. I said systemize everything that moves. I've talked on this channel a couple times about my Trello boards, and every client gets a Trello board. Love it. It's amazing. And then when you talk about, I'm not going to get into making it teachable, valuable, and repeatable, but I'll say this. That's how you scale. And that's really an exit strategy in the long term. You don't have to focus on that right now, but at some point, if you want to hire anyone to do any part of your process, SOPs start to become pretty valuable. So, like I mentioned, having a fixed rate for a fixed outcome is a productized service, subscription or not. And being able to communicate that is critically important, not just to your clients, but communicate it to your loved ones and your dependents. Because the big feelings you're having as you go through this, it's called the dip. I like to call it the pit of despair. I mentioned random numbers a minute ago. When you sell $3,000, $5,000 websites, you have $15,000 comes into the business that you can use on operations and income and whatever else, taxes, right? The problem with selling 3 websites on a subscription, at the $500 number I dropped, it's $1,500. The problem with $1,500 is you're probably not even affording ramen, right? Like that is extremely difficult. So have some money saved up, have a rich aunt or uncle or something, and be able to get through a certain number of time. I know there's big feelings associated with it and it's hard, but it's really a math problem. How many sales, how many new subscribers do we need to get to the certain level of recurring revenue, whether it's $1,500 a month, $3,000, $10,000, $12,000, $20,000. That's a simple math problem. So at $500, you want to get to $10,000 a month. You know how many subscriptions you need to sell. Create the content you need to do that proportionately. And I got a bullet on here. This model is just too foreign for strict time and materials brains. That is true. And I don't necessarily mean to be flippant about it, but I said time doesn't matter. It doesn't. Time doesn't matter insofar as we've got to get done what we promised to get done. And if we're not designing a process that everyone goes through the same way, the same rate of speed, then that variable level of effort to get every single one of those things to market means we haven't fully productized yet. And if we're going to have a subscription offer, it's got to be something closer to all-you-can-eat buffet style than a continued barrier to or defensive posture against the business that is a time and materials, right? Charging for time helps protect your time. You charge more, you may have to work less, or you may get to work less to earn the same amount of revenue, or you can earn more revenue by working more. With a productized service like a subscription, you always get the same amount of revenue. That's why it's critically important to always have the same process for every single business. And that value loop I was talking about over the course of time does earn or can earn more income for the business, more revenue for the business. But it takes a long time to get there. So having patience with that is the most important part, even though it can be pretty difficult. So I just riffed on this for 19 minutes. I'm going to go back to the middle. That is my info for all y'all, and certainly is not specific to Squarespace, though I think there's a lot to be said for how stable and secure that program is, that we sort of, as Squarespace designers, have an unfair advantage against other platforms because it is so low maintenance, that this type of model is even easier for us to execute from an operations standpoint because it drives the cost, the hard cost of delivering it down, which is pretty awesome. So let me get into the AI segment. I need a sound effect for AI. Let's chat. Let's do this. A sound effect for AI. Bicycle horn? No, that's dumb. Okay, I'll get one. Look, here's what I'm doing right now. I'm still using GetKnown, and I'm still enjoying it. It continues to get more complex, and I probably am going to spend a few minutes this weekend watching all of the webinars that they've published on their YouTube channel, just so I can refresh myself and figure out ways of getting deeper and extracting more value from that app. But I'm already getting a ton of value. The other thing is I had a really cool conversation with the makers of Kin, with their UX research person. She's so awesome. I was really impressed. And I'm in their Discord, which is really cool. And I'm looking forward to sharing and collaborating with them, like on areas of opportunity for that app. I think it has a lot of potential. And I don't even have an affiliate link for you. And Struggle Bus. Well, I'm feeling much better now, but I had drank too much over the weekend. Stupid Super Bowl. Look, I think that we all struggle in different ways, and it takes a long time to pull out of the dip, like I was mentioning earlier on that last slide, the pitfalls. Make sure the people around you know that you're making this transition in your business, because it is difficult. It's really great on the other side, but it is difficult. And I can't stress enough the importance of doing things. Like what got me through is journaling. I love gratitude journaling. I've learned a lot from it. That's why I love that Kin app so much. I really enjoy having my significant other tied into not just the purpose, but the intent of the entire design of the business, so that when I do take home all the big feels, and by take home, I mean walk out of this room and join them in another room, she knows where I'm coming from. And that means a lot to me. So it's important to communicate, talk to your dog, talk to your cat, whatever it takes. Let them know, look, it's nothing personal. I'm going through a lot at work right now. I don't know. That's my stupid advice. Anyway, if this was helpful, I have a lot more of this. This is actually a piece of a talk I gave at Squarespace headquarters a couple years ago at their Circle Day event. This is this was 4-5 slides of 25, I think it was. So there is a lot more of this that I can share. If that's of interest to you, leave something in the comments, like and subscribe. You want to learn more about me, go to WaynePelletier.com or ResonantPixel.co. And if you have anybody that you know is desperate for help with a great website, do shoot me a line. Leave a comment or something. Leave the word website or something. I don't know, something cryptic in the comments. And I will be sure to reach out and ping you. So anyway, hey, we hit 25 minutes, 24 minutes. Not too bad. I will talk to you soon.